Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So I just got off of work. As always, y'all know that I'm just getting off of work, getting stuff done. And I had let the screen kind of open today because I'm really hoping to pollinate my cucumber over here in the corner. And my broccoli is getting really big. Like, it's basically the size of my hand. And the one over here is exactly the same way. And then this one is also filling in. So today we're gonna be cutting the broccoli. We got our trusty knife, right? And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the head off. Now I could do one of two things. I could actually just take the whole plant out and look at that head. I could take the whole plant out. Of course, you can cook the greens. As we all know, you can cook the broccoli green like we do the collard greens. You make them the same way. Just cut them up, make them into bite-sized pieces, and then you can just kind of saute them. You can add them to stir fry. Right now I'm actually making some rice, so I thought about doing that. But I'm actually going to save that for tomorrow's dinner. I'm going to make sure that my fiance, I'm actually allergic to broccoli. So I don't personally eat broccoli, but he will eat it and enjoy it. The other thing that we're gonna do is once we peel off these leaves, which I'm not doing it today, so I said I'll do it tomorrow, is I'm gonna take this stem. Now the stem is kind of like thick, right? So what you wanna do is you wanna cut it into basically, I would say not super thick slices, but maybe like a little bit like a pickle size, you know, like you want them to be like you'd put it on a sandwich, like not thin, like you don't want it paper thin, but you want it thick enough that it'll be like chewable. And what we do is that Korean pickling on them, and the kids love it, everybody loves it, because it's just a refrigerator pickle. You just keep it in the refrigerator, and I mean basically once I put that pickling on there, you can eat it the same day, you can eat it the next day. It tastes good on sandwiches. You can add it onto salads. A lot of people don't utilize the stem. They just kind of throw it away. They don't really think much about it because it is really fibrous. And so I think it's a taste and a texture that you have to get used to, but it's definitely worth a try so that way you're utilizing all the plant. This stem looks super healthy. You can see how beautiful the stem is. Look how white and just perfect that stem is. So once I get these leaves off, and I use the leaves for sauteing, basically from about here up, I'm going to use the stem for pickling, which will then give us plenty of room for, I'm gonna pull this whole plant out. It'll start to give us plenty of room for our onions that are hidden somewhere in here. So basically, like every day this week, my fiance is gonna get to enjoy broccoli. So I don't know if that's what he's up for, but that's what he's gonna get. So look at it. I'm really excited about having broccoli. I am right now cooking in the air fryer. I have some zucchini. I've been getting zucchinis in. We've got another zucchini on the plant. I should probably go over there and see if I need to cut it, because you know, if you don't cut zucchini in a timely fashion, what will end up happening is that it will get kind of woody and the seeds will get really big in it. I've been eating the zucchini. It's been super sweet. It's been delicious. Like I said, I always wanted to be the girl that had so much zucchini or squash that she didn't know what to do with it. So that would be a great thing for me. But right now we just got some diversity going. Like I said, most people aren't pulling broccoli this time of year. I assume that it'll be good. It's been underneath this cover. Like, I'm hoping it's got a nice sweetness to it. So we'll see. We've never really done like summer, spring broccoli. We've always kind of done it closer to what we have here in the fall, because you know, we don't really get as cold of a season as most people get, just because we're like basically close to zone 10, which is really warm, you know. So this year was kind of a little bit of an exception to the rule. So let's go check out that zucchini and see if it's ready to pick. So our last zucchini was over here on this plant, but this one right here closest to me, it actually, oh yeah, it actually has a zucchini on it. All right, so the zucchini is nice and hidden down there. So we'll get out our trusty knife. We're just gonna cut it real close. Yay. All right, and now we have another beautiful zucchini. Look at that. So it's always good to be picking from the garden this time of year. As you guys can see, I'm really excited. Like I said, we're gonna start eating more what I call like more of like an Asian style diet, where we're gonna be sauteing zucchinis, we're gonna be getting our broccoli in, and as y'all can see, the next thing that we're gonna be like doing, I've been doing, you know, I do a lot of juicing, and so right there in the back, you guys can see right there, those are ginger. I've got ginger throughout the garden. I've got ginger packed in over here too, along with my cabbage. But look, we're getting red long beans. So that is definitely gonna be what is next coming into the garden. And that's what I said, like, it's always just like, look at all those beans. It's always such a blessing to be able to eat this time of year, just fresh from the garden, and know where our food is coming from. So always just, it just makes me excited. I absolutely love it. You know, and I noticed some papayas were starting to come in. I don't have a lot of papayas this year so far. The squirrels have been getting into it. I was telling my fiance that we gotta move the squirrels to a happier place for them. My mom was saying she was having the same issue. She called me, she's like, I was so mad. The squirrels were eating my tomatoes and they're just ripping stuff off the plants. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta trap them and move them to a different place. Like, you gotta move them to somewhere else where they're not gonna be able to get into your garden. But you know, that's gardening life. Like, you've always got something you're battling. Usually it's the worms or the bugs, but this year, like I said, thank the Lord, we have been super blessed so far to not have any of that, and hopefully I'm not jinxing myself. Hopefully we're just gonna continue to have just an abundance of harvest coming in from the garden. And this time of year, you know, as always, don't forget to be doing your ginger shots. That's kind of why I was talking about the ginger. There are people at work still getting sick. I work around a lot of people, and so unfortunately it just seems like people are always passing stuff back and forth. And we can do a ginger shot together, and then that way I can show you what that looks like. You're basically just juicing ginger. You're gonna do a little bit of turmeric. I like to add a little bit of orange juice to it. Sometimes people add pepper because then the turmeric is more absorbable to the body. And you just shake it up and then you just down it, just little shots. But we'll do that recipe so that way you guys have it, so that everybody is staying healthy and well out there. Like I said, with the way of the economy and the way things are going, the more money that you can keep in your pocket, the healthier that you can keep yourself, the better your mental health will be, because you won't be worried about your family being sick, you being sick. You are taking all these steps and precautions to just kind of keep your wellness up, and that's really, really important. I don't really have anything else too much going on. Oh, I do have some yellow wax beans. I've been over there picking them. I've just been picking them on the daily, because what's been happening is that I've already got like pickling made up. So I've just been dropping them in the jars and then just letting them kind of sit and then eating them that way. I haven't been doing a lot of fresh pickling per se, because I'm just not getting enough in at a time to do it that way. But I'll get like 10 or 12 beans in, and then I just throw them in the jar, wash them off, and then just throw them in the jar and let them absorb that pickling juice. And that's something you can do as well. You don't have to sit there and like wait to have a whole slew of them come in. And that's kind of the nice thing about, for me personally, is like I just know that there's always just something fresh just coming in. So all right, this video is fairly short today, just because I got cooking and stuff that I need to go in and get done. But I just always want to encourage you guys to be out there, be in the garden, even if it's just something every day that you're getting, like a fresh zucchini or our broccoli. You know, it's just nice. Look how big that head is. That's a really nice head for this time of year. You know, just to be getting out of the garden that you did not have to spend a bunch of money on, that you were able to just do this from seed or from plants that you purchased, and it just makes you feel good to know where your food is coming from. So friends, so I'm back out in the garden. This is actually day 2. I pretty much finished up the other video, but I'm gonna actually tack this on to the back end of the video that I just recorded, because it's the next day and we've got broccoli again. So my fiance is going to be eating a nice head of broccoli. We're going to go ahead and cut this head, let's see. Yeah, so there is the beautiful broccoli head. It's nice. He's gonna have that again. But what I actually wanted to do is I need to get out here and get these greens. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the greens. And the greens that aren't really usable, like this one's kind of like got holes and just kind of nasty, I'm gonna end up actually just composting those. But we got our trusty knife. And I wanted to show you guys how to pickle the stem. It's really easy. So that's why I wanted to get out here and clean this up real quick. All right, so let's take this stem inside and I'm gonna show you what to do with it. All right, so here's what we're gonna do is basically you wanna kind of get the softer part of this stem and you're just gonna cut it like you would like a pickle. If you have a really good mandala, which I don't have a great one, you can use a mandala and basically you're just gonna cut this into like, do you see like these little chunks? Kind of like you'd see a pickle cut, like a thicker pickle, not like super thin. You're just gonna drop them in your glass mason or ball jar or whatever you have. And you're gonna do the pickling recipe that I always do for you guys, the Korean pickle. It's just a refrigerator pickle, so this isn't for long term. This is just for like short term in the fridge, but it's kind of like a nice way to utilize the stem. This isn't for everybody, but like, and when it gets to like the woodier, harder part, just ignore that part. But because I know I have more out there, stems, broccoli stems, because see I have two, because I cut one obviously yesterday, which you guys are going to be catching on the front end of this video, and then I cut the head off of this one today, which my fiance will be eating tonight for dinner with his dinner. I'll have more because there's like 6 broccoli heads out there. So if you grew a lot of broccoli, just take the soft part, the part that's easier to cut, and you're just gonna make broccoli. I call them broccoli pickles. I don't know like if there's anything official about them, but if you've got like some stems too, if like some people just like the head more than just kind of like the thickness of the stem. I know some people are like really picky, like this part. You can actually just drop those in there and just eat them like you would normally eat anything that's pickled. So just a different way to utilize it. Now it is a little bit harder on the stomach. We've talked about that before, like things that are harder on the stomach, but you get used to it. And if you're in like the Great Depression, you find every avenue you can to utilize the vegetables that you have. So the stems, like I said, they are tougher, but the pickling process has a tendency to kind of soften them up just a little bit. So like I have these, so I'm just taking those and I'm just gonna drop them in. So like I said, it's not for everybody, but it is worth a try, especially like if we're in you know, like I said, some type of depression situation. I was watching a video today, and it was somebody from China who was talking about how they are basically seeing like slack already with the government as far as like food, and they are like seeing like a decrease, like basically like they're kind of having like a financial struggle. So I definitely think that that's something that we just need to be thinking about, and hopefully everything will continue to run fairly smoothly here, but I just don't think that that's going to be the case. So like I say, always just be prepared like if it's a hurricane. Now what we have been doing is we have been getting some extra rice at the store. We go to Costco. My fiance bought a big thing of rice. We already had a half a bag because that will help to supplement like even our dog's foods a little bit, because I mix rice in with my dog's food. So that will give them some nutrients, you know, or some filler if, you know, there's like a down situation. And so think about that kind of stuff. I did buy some extra packs of like dried beans, should we need those, like some black beans, and you know, just some stuff like that I know will last. And worst case scenario, if we don't need it, then we can always donate it, or you know, we can find some soup recipes in the fall to make with it or something like that. So I'm not trying to encourage any fear. I'm just saying I think it's best that we're prepared, because you know, we don't want to get put in any type of situation that would cause us to, you know, be hungry or not be able to feed our pets, or you know, it's just like, you just don't know. The world's so crazy now. It's just, it seems like there's always something going on, and there's always some chaos these days, and so we just want to be as prepared as we can. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make that pickle, and then we're pickling recipe. I will note that in the bottom for you guys so that you will have it if you want to use that refrigerator pickle real quick, and then you guys will have like a little different kind of treat. It is thicker. I mean, definitely, like if you're a vegetarian, that's probably something that you might take into consideration. I think the average person is used to that kind of soft pickle. This is definitely much like chewier, like you're gonna chew on this for a minute, but at the same time, you know, it is good for you. Any type of pickling or fermented foods are really good for your gut, so just keep that in mind. Plus it's kind of different. It's not always something that a lot of people get. Now obviously with any type of broccoli, I wouldn't ever overeat, just because, you know, broccoli is gassy and it'll make your tummy hurt. So just keep that in mind. Do what's best for you, as always, right? So that's kind of like your bonus, not bonus. I still got juicing to do today. I got to get our juicing on. We're juicing every day. We got to stay healthy with our juicing. Pretty soon I'm going to bring you guys back. We are going to be doing, I've got ginger out there in the garden right now. I've got tomatoes are actually starting to come in, so we need to do a tomato video, because I've got the little sweet 100 starting to come in. And then we've got turmeric out there in the garden that we need to dig up too. So lots going on right now. We're just always staying busy. That's one of the things I tell you guys about. Make sure that you're staying prepared, stay, you know, busy every day. Come home. If you're working like me, 2 jobs, like when you've got a little bit of in-between time, make sure that you are putting away, make sure that you're doing what you can. And instead of having your face in front of the TV all the time, or on the iPad or the cell phone, you know, flipping through, watching Instagram stuff or whatever you're watching, you know, try to set some time aside, even if it's an hour every day, to get something done for yourself for preparation. So all right friends, until next time, love one another, be kind. I will see you guys real soon.